Hi everyone, welcome to another week. Welcome to the space, Legal Comment, the only space that tries to look at legal issues concerning this country, Nigeria, and provide informed opinion and analyze most legislations that we are all subjected to. Last week we looked at the powers of the IGP to assign police officers to both government and businesses and individuals. Today, we are going to continue. It's going to be a 2.0, the powers of the IG, that is part 2. We felt that it is proper to look at these provisions under part 5 of the Police Act, that is the powers that has to do with assigning of supernumerary police officers. We are going to look at each section of part 5, which is the general administration, or try to analyze the reason behind the legislators actually providing these sections within the Nigerian Police Act 2020. So first of all, I'm going to breeze through section 17 up to section 20. Section 17 basically talked about a person appointed as a member of the Nigerian force shall, prior to commencement of duty, subscribe to the official oath, the police oath, and the oath of allegiance under Oaths Act. And then section 18, the responsibility for the recruitment of recruit constables into the Nigerian police force and recruit cadets into the Nigerian Police Academy shall be the duty of the Inspector General of Police. And then subsection 2, for the purpose of subsection 1, there shall be the Nigerian Police Recruitment Committee. And then basically from subsection 2 up to subsection 11 give general view of how the recruitment of police is being dealt with. The recruitment of police are being dealt with by a body within the Nigerian police. And then you move on to section 19. The section 19 talked about the Inspector General of Police shall ensure that all police officers undergo periodic training and retraining. And this is very interesting section because it makes it mandatory that the IGP must ensure that all police officers are retrained, trained and retrained periodically on basic policing, ethics, code of conduct, and standard operating procedure, crime detection and law enforcement, investigation and gathering of evidence, effective nationwide citizens engagement, human rights, gender issues, public relations, and other emerging issues, democratic policing and emotional intelligence, and prosecution and defense. And you will be surprised that this act is enriched with vision that the police officer, an average police officer, is well educated and grounded in the art of policing. If you look at the list that I've just read, which is from section 19, subsection 1A to G, if a police officer has these qualities in them, I don't think we will complain about the brutality that we are experiencing in the hands of the police. However, if we move on to section 20, section 20 says the police officer shall not be paid salary below what is payable to officers in other security agency. I don't know the reason why this section has been included in this act, in the sense that we're comparing the police officers to other security agencies. It is, a good thing that they are not being paid less below what other security agencies earns. However, in my opinion, the work of the police officers is far greater than that of other agencies. But I don't understand why this provision is here, the basis of us having this provision in this act. Then we move to section 21, which is the beginning of what we are actually looking to discuss today. Section 21, subsection 1 says, any private organization or government department who desires to avail itself of the service of a supernumerary police for the protection of property owned or controlled by it may make application to the Inspector General of Police, stating the nature and situation of the property in question and giving such other particulars as the Inspector General of Police may require. On an application under subsection 1, the Inspector General of Police may, with the approval of the Police Service Commission, direct the appropriate authority to appoint as supernumerary police officers in the police force such number of persons as the Inspector General of Police think appropriate for the protection of the property to which the application relates. Every supernumerary police officer appointed under this section and section 22 and 23 is appointed in respect of the area of the police zone, state, area, or divisional command in which the personnel and property which he is to protect are located, is employed exclusively on duties connected with the protection, administration, and maintenance of that property or premises, shall in the police area in respect of which he is appointed or in any police area adjacent thereto have the powers, privilege, and immunity of a police officer and shall be a member of the police force for all purposes and subject to the provisions of this act, particularly the provisions relating to discipline. Where any supernumerary police officer is appointed, the private or government department availing itself of the services of that officer shall pay all entitlements, including salary and allowances, to the officer monthly. On the enlistment of the officer, the full cost of the officer's uniform and accoutrements, including ceremonial dresses, which is the same as the police general duty, and shall be paid to the police in a designated account approved by the Inspector General of Police. Where the private or government department avail itself of the services of any supernumerary police officer, desires the service of that officer to be discontinued, the private or government department shall give at least 2 months notice in writing to that effect to the Inspector General of Police, who shall give approval to such request for implementation, and all benefits of the officer shall be paid within 1 month of his release. Then subsection 6, all uniforms shall be supplied by the police force quartermaster. The supernumerary police shall be a unit of the police force. Just going to analyze that before I move to section 22. So, private organizations or government departments can avail themselves, that is, can request the protection of properties of persons by the police force, and the IGP, that is the Inspector General of Police, will consider application and liaise with the Police Service Commission in order to approve police officer being assigned to these individuals or government departments. And then those government departments or individuals will be responsible for the salary, for the uniform, for everything that the police officer need in order to carry out its function. However, this section 21 actually negates the whole purpose of the police officer. In my own opinion, the duty of the police force is to maintain public order and safety, enforcing the law and preventing, detecting, and investigating criminal activities. Those are the primary responsibility of the police officer. For individuals, banks, businesses, and other organizations out there to avail themselves the services of police officers have detriment to the public law and order that they were created to perform. In terms of section 21, you will also notice that the individuals or government agency will need to give 2 months notice to the IGP if they want to discontinue the services that these offices are rendering. And then section 22, the appropriate authority may, at the request of any senior police officer, appoint any person as a supernumerary police officer at any appropriate level in the police force for the administration or maintenance of premises occupied or used for the purpose of the police force, but shall not do so in any particular case unless it is satisfied that it is necessary in the interest of security or discipline, that the person discharging the duty in question are subject to the provisions of this act relating to discipline. This section is one, in my opinion, is vague. It is subjective. And then if we move to 23, section 23, if at any time the Inspector General of Police, with the consent of the Police Service Commission, is satisfied as regard any police area that it is necessary in the public interest for supernumerary police officers to be employed in that area, he may authorize the appropriate authority to appoint persons as supernumerary police officers in the police force in accordance with the authorization. Every authorization under this section shall be in writing and shall specify the police area to which it relates and the maximum number of supernumerary police officers who may be appointed under that authorization. Every supernumerary police officer appointed by an authorization given under this section shall not bear arms and be covered by the provision relating to pension as stipulated in section 15 of this act. Section 15 basically talked about police officers having pension benefits. I'm just going to quickly read section 15. Section 15, subsection 1 says, persons appointed to offices under this part are entitled to such pension, gratuity, and other retirement benefit as prescribed under the Pension Reform Act. And if you look at this part, the part that is being talked about is part 4 of the Police Act 2020. That is part 4 is appointment and functions, etc. of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Commissioners of Police, and other persons into the Nigerian police force. So the question is, officers that are appointed under section 23, because what it says as section 23 is every supernumerary police officer appointed by an authorization given under this section, which is section 23, they shall not bear arms, and they shall not be entitled to pension. So why would the Inspector General of Police assign supernumerary police officers under section 23, assign them to carry out functions, and then they are not entitled to have pension benefit once they retire, and it is not a permanent position, because the appointment can be terminated at any time, either by the Inspector General of Police or by the applicants that have requested the service. But the fact is that they are not required to bear arms. I'm not sure how dangerous the service that they are required to carry out is. If you go on to sections 24, the appropriate authority may, at the request of the Inspector General of Police or Commissioner of Police of a state, appoint any person as a supernumerary police officer in the police force for attachment as an orderly to a minister, a commissioner of the government of a state, or a police officer of or above the rank of assistant commissioner. Every supernumerary police officers appointed under this section shall be employed exclusively on duties connected with the activity of the person to whom he is attached. While so employed, have throughout Nigeria the power, privileges, and immunities of a police officer. May be trained to bear firearms with the approval of the Inspector General of Police, subject to the restrictions imposed by paragraph A and section 20 of this Act. Shall be a member of the force for all purposes, and shall be subject to the provisions of this Act, particularly the provision relating to discipline. Let's just analyze that. So under section 24, it covers the ministers, federal ministers and the state ministers, commissioners, governors, police officers above the rank of assistant commissioner. With all these personnel, the orderlies that will be attached to them, they may be trained to bear arms, to carry arms. Whereas the other provisions that we've read, those officers are not supposed to bear arms. Then if we move to section 25, every supernumerary police officer is on appointment enlisted to serve in the Nigeria force from month to month. And a supernumerary police officer may at any time resign his appointment by giving 1 month notice in that behalf to his employer and senior police officer in charge of the police area in respect of which he is appointed, and his appointment may be determined by the appropriate authority on 1 month's notice in that behalf, or one payment of 1 month's pay instead of such notice. If a supernumerary police officer wants to end its appointment of being an orderly to an individual, a business, or government ministers, they can give a 1 month notice. So that is, they give them notice today, the 6th of November, on the 5th of November, and on the 5th of December, I want my attachment to come to an end. Otherwise, they can give notice now and then pay in lieu of that 1 month notice. They pay 1 month salary to the. It's not clear if they are paying it to the Nigerian police force, or they are paying it to the person that they've been attached to. The ranks to which supernumerary police officer may be appointed shall be prescribed by the Inspector General of Police with the consent of the Police Service Commission, but shall not exceed the rank of Commissioner of Police throughout his lifetime. There shall only be one supernumerary Commissioner of Police at a time in the Federation. The badges of ranks of the supernumerary police shall be the same as that worn by the general duty or regular police. A supernumerary police officer has no claim on the police reward fund, and without prejudice to any liberty under the Employees Compensation Act, to be paid compensation to or in respect of any person by virtue of his employment as a supernumerary police officer. The person's service as such shall not render him or any other person eligible for any pension, gratuity, or annual allowance under this Act or the Pension Reform Act. Okay, that is much of what we are going to read as regard the Police Act 2020. If I understand what this document is saying, is the fact that supernumerary police officers are different, have different benefit packages compared to the general police. Their employment is sort of like a contract employment, which is, it is month by month. It is not permanent, it is temporary, it is contract, it is month by month. And anyone can bring that employment to an end. That is, an applicant, an individual or organization that have requested the services of a supernumerary police officer can bring that relationship or that employment to an end by giving 2 months notice. Whereas the supernumerary police officer can bring that relationship or that employment to an end by giving 1 month notice. And Section 25, subsection 5, is quite an interesting part of this law, in the sense that they are not entitled to pension, eligible for any pension, gratuity, or annual allowance under this Act. So, Section 15 that we've read earlier on, if the general police officers, they are entitled to pension, this specific set of officers, which is the supernumerary police officers, they are not entitled to pension. Those officers that were killed as a result of the attempt assassination of Apostle Johnson Suleiman, what is their situation? What is their condition? I know I cannot specifically say that they are supernumerary police. I assume they are supernumerary police, but not actually looking at their letter of engagement, it will be difficult to conclude that those officers, their family or next of kins, are going to be entitled to anything, given the interpretation of these sections. So, the case is that the IGP, Inspector General of Police, recruits police officers, use the public fund to train up these police officers, whether to bear arms or not to bear arms, and then assigned them to become supernumerary police officers, which is a special unit under the Nigerian police. Basically, this set of supernumerary police officers are security guards by the interpretation of these sessions. They are security guards. They are not the general police officers, because they are not entitled, they don't get the benefit of the normal or general police officers by the interpretation of these sections. So you are rather than bringing this set of officers into the general police officers in order to carry out their primary functions, which we've already stated, is maintaining public order and safety, enforcing the law, and preventing, detecting, and investigating criminal activities. Instead of, the Nigerian police to train these officers up to do this work, what they do is that they assign these people to individuals, businesses, and government departments. In 2017, it was brought to the general public that this was information released by the Nigerian police in 2017, that a governor has 221 police officers attached to him or her. And this is as a result of Governor Wike at the time complaining that police officers attached to him has been withdrawn. In 2017, it was confirmed by the Nigerian police as at then, a sitting governor has attached to him 221 police officers, whether some of them are supernumerary police officers, may or may not be the case. However, this was stated by the Nigerian police. And if you multiply 221 police officers times 36 governors, that will give 7,956 police officers protecting 36 persons. Whereas it is alleged that Nigeria has 350,000 police officers. And I believe this 350,000 includes the supernumerary police officers. And if you divide this 350,000 by the population of Nigeria, which is 218 million, allegedly, that Nigerians, the population of Nigeria is about 218 million. If you divide 218 million by 350,000 police officers, that will give you one police officer to 400 citizens. How do you police such society when one police officer is supposed to be watching 400 citizens? And in that same country, we have 7,956 police officers protecting 36 persons. How just is that? We spend the public money recruiting, training all these officers up, only for us to go and attach them to private individuals, to banks. That is a wasted talent, in my opinion, because they've been trained to combat crime, to maintain law and order, to investigate alleged crimes, and then you go and put them in the bank to sit in front of the gate as security guards. Why don't the Nigerian police encourage a society where there are private security firms, so that the security firms can be doing the protection of private and individuals, and leave the police officers to carry out their primary function, which is to maintain law and order, that is public order and safety, enforce the law, prevent, detect, and investigate criminal activities. And the only way they can do that is by being out there in the public, rather than sat at the gate of a bank or an individual, or carrying the handbag of a person, like on this photograph that you're seeing, Atiku's wife. Her handbag, she cannot carry her handbag. She cannot hold on to her own handbag. If she cannot hold on to her handbag, there is no point coming to such function with an handbag. I think that the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, needs to sit down and reevaluate the importance of the Nigerian police officers in bringing about a society where law and order are maintained. I would encourage the Inspector General of Police to rethink the need of protecting individuals rather than the general public, in line with the primary functions of the Nigerian police. We should, as a nation, be calling these acts out because they are not right. They contravenes the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution set up the Nigerian force to protect Nigeria, not individual Nigerians. I hope you've enjoyed today's section. Provide your comments, like the program, or even click on dislike if you want to. And we'll see you next time, hopefully with another aspect of the Constitution or other legislations that are out there for us to review. Take care and bye-bye.